Touch with me, JD Jean-Pierre Emmanuel. Those of you who follow me on social media would have already known what the topic for tonight's program is. But for those who are not connected via Facebook, WhatsApp, and so on, it gives me great pleasure to inform you that we'll be focusing on the Home Help for the Elderly program, which is currently managed by NICE, which is a national initiative to create employment. A lot has been said about the NICE initiative. You would recall that it was a program promised in the manifesto of the St. Lucia Labour Party, delivered when it was announced in the Prime Minister's budget address, but it was launched in June of 2012. The NICE program has several components. There are job placements and attachments within the public sector and the private sector. We have the Home Help for the Elderly program, the Playing Field Maintenance program, the Farm Labor Support Program. There is also a program that provides assistance to our schools, especially our primary schools, with support for the principals. A part-time program that is run by NICE also is a support system provided to our various camps organized by the Ministries of Education and Youth Development and Sports, as well as other private individuals within various communities where supervisors are sent into the various communities to provide assistance and to also ensure that our children are engaged in meaningful activities. And so, in short, the NICE program has touched every single community in St. Lucia. It has impacted so many lives, transformed so many lives. And if you were to listen to the testimonies of those who have benefited from the program, not simply through job placements, but benefiting in such a way that care is provided to them, in areas where they were neglected before, they would tell you, this program has saved my life. I recall a meeting that the Prime Minister held with the NICE workers sometime last year, when the discussions were very heated as to ways to cure the fiscal deficit. You would also recall around that time there was discussion on the table to have adjustment to wages and salaries. And so the Prime Minister called in the NICE workers to share with them the state of the economy. And an individual at this meeting said, "Prime Minister, I know that you have defined the NICE program and you call it the National Initiative to Create Employment. But for me, NICE is Now I Can Eat." And this says to you how important this program is to the everyday man, to individuals who had not worked for as many as 10, 15, some of them 20 years. Some of them would say to you that the experience has been more recent. However, the intervention was very timely. I know that when we speak of NICE, the recent events come to your mind, but tonight we want to focus on the Home Help for the Elderly program. And I'm very pleased that aside from interviews that I conducted prior to tonight's program, I have in studio with me a caregiver, very, very passionate caregiver, who will speak about her experience caring for the elderly within the constituency of Babonneau. We spoke with the project coordinator, also the project manager responsible for training. And for me, the most important and instructive voices would be those who are on the field, caring for the elderly and the elderly themselves. We'll begin tonight's program with comments from the project coordinator, who is Mr. Perry Thomas, where he gives us a little bit more background information on the National Initiative to Create Employment.
NICE, as everyone would have known from the budget address of 2012 of the Prime Minister, in which he clearly indicated that the initiative was targeted at providing employment opportunities to arrest some of that level of unemployment that has been experienced in the country. And from since then to now, NICE has been involved in primarily employment generating activity for many of the unemployed persons over the last 2.5 years. At this point in time, we are very happy actually to know that what we have done over the period has benefited over 5,000 persons. We have created over 5,000 employment opportunities for persons within the country. And we have done so in various ways and various projects that we have done. As you would recall, we started off in 2012 with the Home Help program. This program by itself employs 325 persons initially. Right now we have 320 because of 5, I think, have resigned to move on to other areas. And we have these 325 persons currently serving approximately 530 odd persons in the communities. Now we're talking about the elderly and the indigent persons. In addition to that, we created other areas that included the IT assistants, the principal assistants. These are 200 plus persons that work within the primary schools throughout the island and providing very critical support to the Ministry of Education. Other areas of employment we have created, we have done the field maintenance program, the field maintenance or the playing facilities maintenance program, where persons take care of the playing facilities around the country. These are critical programs because they help in terms of the social fabric of the country. At the same time, additional support is created within the public sector, because even in the Prime Minister's address in 2012, he clearly indicated that NICE will be public sector led. And we have created a number of programs that support the ministries within the delivery of services to the public. Today we can boast of a more efficient delivery of the birth certificates within the civil status registry, and with the help of NICE that has come through. And I must say the persons who are working there have given tremendous support to the ministry, and they have done remarkably well by the reports that have been given to us based on the performance evaluations. In addition to that, support has also been given to the Ministry of Legal Affairs and Home Affairs through immigration, the Immigration Department. Now, these were not independent because they were all linked together because of the passport recall. And you know, going into the passport recall, you needed birth certificates and so. So there's a system established now, and there's a better flow. And many solutions can attest to much quicker delivery of the service right now. So NICE has been involved in more than one way, helping deliver the service the government has committed to. And today we applaud the efforts of every person who have been employed and has put forward a wonderful performance. In addition to that, from my end, we can say thanks to the Ministry of Finance and the Minister of Finance, who has supported the program right through.
More than I can tell you about the National Initiative to Create Employment. This was Mr. Perry Thomas, and he has been the project coordinator from the inception. Tonight, since we'll be focusing on the Home Help for the Elderly program, I know that many questions have been asked about the level of preparation and the level of training given to our caregivers. You would have noticed or even understood from previous pronouncements that many of our caregivers are simply community workers. Some of them have actually dedicated their lives to caring for the elderly in their community. And when we speak to my guests later on in the program, you would also learn that even before the Home Help for the Elderly program, she was engaged in that kind of work. However, the individuals who are currently on the program had to go through a special selection process. They also had to be trained, because when we are dealing with the elderly, as Ms. Deborah Hippolyte, who is the project manager responsible for training, will say to us in a little while, there are special needs. We want to ensure that this program is catering to the diverse needs that our elderly would have. And so we will go to Ms. Deborah Hippolyte, who would speak to you on the preparation and training given to the caregivers who went out or who go out on a daily basis into the communities.
Okay, well, the training was done in collaboration with the NSTC. It involved, well, the technical vocational aspect of it, where we actually did the elderly care preparation was done in 3 months. But prior to that, there was a selection screening process. As you said, it's something that is not just for every and anybody. So there is a process of selection where we put them through what we call career counseling, where they sit with a counselor and they go through their interests from as far back as younger days, looking at their past, their present, and their future aspirations. And that kind of helps to guide them in the direction of what they really should be, concentrating on. So coming out of that, if the interest is there, the very high interest level in elderly care based on their responses in the interview, they're recommended, but they still have to go through what we call life skills for a period of 2 weeks, because some persons you find are not able to work well with other persons. So during the life skills process, you look at the dynamics in a group, how they work with others, their communication skills, conflict resolution is very important as well, time management. So after that period, it's 2 weeks, as I said, then there's recommended for what we call technical vocational training, where they go through a period of, it's theoretical and practical. For elderly care, we looked at things like the physiological needs of the elderly, aging process, the illnesses that they go through, the changes, coping with death, because the reality is sometimes the persons that they're caring for may die, and there's certain things that you need to understand. How do you cope with that? Preparing the meals, they have different diabetic needs. How do you prepare the food? Bathing them, sometimes they're bedridden. There's certain things you need to do. Certain exercise, the physiotherapy, how do you think the muscles and that. So it's a very involved training. They're assessed during the process. They're also taken to the different homes, the hospitals, to actually see the practical side of it, actually working with persons. We had them at the Marion home, the hospital as well as some of the other homes. So they actually do actual practicals with elderly persons while they're in.
And that was Ms. Deborah Hippolyte, and she is the project manager responsible for training, taking us through the period of training and as well what the caregivers would have been involved in before they were actually deployed into the communities so that they can care for the elderly. I will tell you, I went into the community of Babuno on Thursday and I got an opportunity to actually see some of the caregivers at work. I got an opportunity to speak to the clients as well, and under the Home Help for the Elderly program, the elderly who receive care from the caregivers are referred to as clients. And they spoke about their experiences under the program, also gave their own views on their caregivers. But I will tell you, there is absolutely nothing that I can tell you. There is absolutely nothing that Mr. Thomas or even Ms. Hippolyte, who is responsible for overseeing the training, can tell you that would prepare you for that experience, that would prepare you for what you will hear from my guest who is in studio with us tonight. She has been on the program from inception. She will share with us her own experiences. We would also hear from some caregivers within the Babuno region who would speak to their daily tasks, what they do when they go into the community, how they are assigned within the community. And I got an opportunity to see for myself and to really experience and to hear the joy in the voices of some of the elderly clients. And I can tell you from my own experience, I could have seen that this is a program that transformed the lives. We will go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we will begin to speak with the caregivers so that you can hear from them how they value their experiences, not just their jobs, but their experiences and what they are able to do for the elderly within their communities on a daily basis. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the commercial break. See that every single aspect of this program is equally important. Tonight we choose to focus on the Home Help for the Elderly program, and I will tell you that the idea for this program came from Miss Malene Nelson, and she's from Moshi. She's very passionate about this program. I will tell you, she's not a caregiver. However, she has learned of the experiences of the caregivers. She spoke to the lady tonight who's my guest, and she was sharing it for her experience. She was sharing it for the joy of waking up on a morning knowing that you're going to impact someone's lives positively. And so she felt that this was an experience that had to be shared with the nation so that we can really and truly appreciate the work that the NICE employees, particularly those under the Home Help for the Elderly program, does. When I was researching to prepare for this program, as you saw earlier, I spoke to individuals on the administrative side, those involved in the project office, ensuring that you have the administrative matters handled, ensuring too that all of the documents are in order and that there is a manual to follow, that the training is done. But the individuals on the ground, they are the ones who would manage this program on a day-to-day basis. As I indicated earlier, I focused on the Babuno region, and we actually went into the constituency so that we can speak to some of the workers on site, and that we can speak to the individuals who are being cared for as well. And so on Thursday, I spoke with Mr. Jada Emmanuel. He is the only male, I was told from the NICE office, under the Home Help for the Elderly program. He is the supervisor for the Babonneau region. And he, in this clip, will share with us what his day-to-day experience would be like on the program, especially managing a group of 17 ladies. So we go to the next clip.
Normally, I begin at Union. So my very first person is at Union, and I could reach as far as Debara, which is in the end of Babonneau. Okay. So I cover the whole of Babonneau, so from Union all the way to Kabish, Babonneau Central, Kako, Foaso, Pebush, Lage, and so on. I have other persons who have maybe 3, 4. Some of them not too much work, very little. They come, they cook, they clean. Personal hygiene would be one of the aspects that they have to take care of. I look at it like based upon how many persons you have taken care of, you do sometimes 2 hours per person because your day is actually from 8 to 4.
And there we had the supervisor for the Babonneau region. My guest tonight is Miss Sophia Iriste, and she works within the Babonneau region. I will tell you, when I walked through Babonneau on Thursday, every single individual that I met, the clients, was speaking about Sophia. And this is where I understood from the supervisor that you are actually rotated. So you may be working in one area at a particular point in time, but after a period of time, you would go into another area. So it seemed like the whole of Babonneau knows you. And they are very pleased with what you're doing. So I welcome you to tonight's program. I think everyone can tell I'm very excited about tonight's program.
Thank you.
I am excited and elated that I met you. I will tell you that. And what moves me the most is how passionate you are about your work. I must share with my viewers. Sophie said to me on Thursday, as far as I'm concerned, not even the Prime Minister has a better job than me. She said, because when I leave these houses on an evening, I leave with blessings. The people I care for would say, God bless you. But we know when we listen to the radio stations every afternoon and every night, somebody is cursing Kenny Anthony. Somebody is not happy with something in the country. But she gets only blessings. And she is extremely proud and pleased with her job. Welcome to In Touch.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
I am so proud that you're here. I cannot say that enough. So I want to speak a little bit about you, to get some background information as to who you are and how you got yourself into the Home Help for the Elderly program. What got you interested in this program?
Well, I have always been, I have always cared for older persons. From a child, I always love older persons. I always like to be around them. I like to care for them. I like to hear their stories. You know, I always love to be around them. And before the NICE program, my first experience was some older person in my community. I did it voluntarily. I used to work, but I devoted time for that particular individual, which was a blind lady. She had no children, no husband. She was home alone. She was my neighbor. I cared for her until she passed away.
Wow.
You know, so I've had that from a child. Yes.
I told you on Thursday.
That's my passion.
Yeah, it's your passion, but you also have a very special heart.
Oh, yes.
Because I remember when the Prime Minister spoke at the graduation ceremony of the caregivers, he said this is not a job for everyone. You need to have a special love in order to care for the elderly. What has your experience been like on the program so far?
Well, so far it's, oh my God, so much to talk about. It's so much.
I can imagine. I'm
loved by everybody.
Well, yes, I can tell.
I've always been that way. When I go out there and you know, when you go out and you do these things, you impact somebody's life. You know how great and how good you feel when you know you go out there and you impact somebody's life. It's not just like working in a supermarket and you go, you treat the customers well, you know, you laugh with them, you push their trolley and all of that. It's not like that. You really impact somebody's life. You change somebody's life. And to know exactly what it is, you have to be in it to know, because I wouldn't really know.
Right, right. What was your first experience like on the NICE program? Because yes, you said you had done it before and you had cared for
Yes,
somebody in your community,
yeah.
but now you're coming under a structured program,
Yes.
a program where you do not know who you are going to, you do not have any special connection with the
Yes,
person.
yeah.
Were you nervous going into the program, or did you already know what to expect?
I did not know what to expect. I did not know what to expect.
So what was
honestly.
the experience like when you went in?
Well, when I went in, the first home I went to, it was not a pleasant sight. Which, that is not something I really want to talk about and go into
Sure, I understand.
on air.
Sure.
But it was not a pleasant sight. It was that blind man. He was blind. He was sick. And when I went into that home, I did not know what to do. I did not know where to turn. When my supervisor brought me there, she told me, you know what? Just, you know, I know you know what to do. I trust you, I believe in you, and I know you can do it. And she left me and she went home. I fell sick that very same day. I felt sick.
Wow.
I felt sick.
Because it was just too much to take in.
It was just too much to take in. I could not believe that people used to live in that condition until
you saw it.
I saw it, you know. And I felt sick. I called my supervisor and I tell her I cannot go back there the following day. She tell me, you know what, just take your time. I know you can make it. I know you can do it. That is why I brought you there. So think about it, relax yourself, and when you're ready to go, that was a Friday. And I went the Monday.
Wow.
I spoke to a particular family member. I told her what I needed, everything I needed for the particular day, and I did what I had to do. But by the end of the day, I saw myself as the Queen of St. Lucia.
Wow.
Yes, I saw myself as the Queen of St. Lucia. That particular individual was blind, but he told me, Ishmael, vous savez qui ça? Vous savez quand il me prend l'odeur ici, à manier ici, à différent? You know how that made me felt?
Wow.
You don't know the half of it. The Prime Minister do not know the half of it, you know? And there's a lot, maybe I may not even want to talk about it on air.
Sure.
Yes, but there's so much. But that was my very first experience.
Wow. And so you were able to go in there to put aside what you felt, what you saw, and to move in to make a difference. How long did you stay in with that particular client?
I stayed with him almost a year. Almost a year, and he passed. Maybe I should say about 9.5 months.
Oh, so he passed away while you were caring for him?
Yes, he passed away while I was caring for him.
What was that experience like?
Oh, my God. That individual is like somebody I had a friendship with. He got so close to me.
Wow.
Don, Koto, Mema, wow, Vinip, wow. He gave me a new name. And I used to care for that man on a Saturday. I used to care for him on a Sunday.
But yes. What is your, do you have official working hours under the NICE program?
Yes. My official hours from 8 to 4 from Monday to Friday.
Right. But you would go in after?
I would go in after. I would go in on a Saturday. I would go in on a Sunday. I would go in on a holiday to make sure that that man take his medication on time. Yes. Make sure he eats on time. He have to eat before he take the medication. So I definitely have to cook. Or I would cook home, carry the food, sit down, eat with him, give him his medication.
Wow.
Every Saturday, every Sunday.
Was he your next door neighbor?
No, he was not my neighbor. No.
And you would go to his home?
Yes. Yes, I would do that.
Wow. I tell you, you have an extremely special heart. And so after he passed away, you had to be transferred to another client. Do you have any influence as to where you go in the program, or are you assigned by your supervisor?
I am assigned by my supervisor.
So you cannot say, I do not want to go there and send me there and I want to be there. You could have, and you would have an info, you could say this person needs help, that person needs help, and at the end of the day, the supervisor would determine how you assign. Is that how it works?
No. The supervisor is the one, he would know who in the area that needs help, because individuals would not talk to me. They would speak to the supervisor. And the supervisor would tell me, listen, I want you to go to that home, I want you to go to that home.
Wow.
I do not have a choice in the matter. I have to go.
Yes.
That's my job.
Indeed. How many persons do you care for at a particular time or on a given day?
Well, for now, I care for 2 people.
Okay. So there's a morning shift and an afternoon shift, or you split the days during the week?
No, no, no. Morning shift and afternoon shift.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're supposed to balance your time.
Balance my time, yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Tell me about, you know, probably what would have been your most cherished or memorable time on the job as a caregiver. I know that I've spoken to some of the caregivers, and I know that there are difficult days. In fact, one of the clips that we'll show later on from one of the caregivers, she spoke about her client passing away. And I suspect, when I spoke to Miss Hippolyte, who is the project manager, she said that one of the difficult things would be if you've been caring for someone for a while and that person passes away. And so as part of the training, there had to be discussion on that so that the caregivers can prepare themselves. And from what you're saying, I realize you cultivate a relationship with that person.
Yes, you do.
And so that person becomes like your father, your
father,
grandfather,
yes,
your
yes,
brother.
your friend, your, yes.
Yeah,
you do.
Your most memorable moment. What would you say would be your most proud or memorable moment on your job?
God.
There are so many, huh?
There are so many. There are so many. But my most memorable moment is with, I wonder if I should say his name.
But you don't have to say the name. You could just say your client.
Okay,
yeah.
My client is one of the well-known person in St. Lucia, in the island, well-known.
Okay.
Is now my client.
Okay.
And it's just not too long ago he was hospitalized. And Friday I went to the hospital. Yes, I went to see him. And he could barely, you know, talk, and, you know, he could barely open his mouth and talk. But I stayed at the hospital up to 10 o'clock. After I leave work, I went straight to the hospital.
Wow.
And when I went to the hospital, the same things I used to do for him at home, I did it there for him at the hospital. I waited, yes.
Wow.
And I had that opportunity to do it for him. And I was privileged to do it.
Wow.
And when I left, he could barely open his mouth to talk. But when I left, when I stepped out of the door, he said, "Sophia." I turned back. He said, "Thank you. Thank you." And he could not talk.
Wow.
Yes. And when I got up Saturday morning, I went straight to the hospital to see him.
Wow.
And you know what he said? "Oh, you are here."
Wow.
He said that to me. That's my most memorable moment. I will never forget that.
Yes, he was down, but he still recognized you and recognized.
Yes.
I tell you, I did tell my viewers that there was absolutely nothing that I can tell you or the manager of the program can tell you that can actually prepare you for the experiences and for the impact of this program. You need only take a walk through the communities. And this program is across the island in all 17 constituencies in St. Lucia. I believe everyone knows somebody who is being cared for under this program. And you should take a walk through a community, visit them, speak to them, ask them, what is your experience on this program like? And they will share with you. When you speak to your clients about the program, because I know you have your moments and you have your own experiences, but most times they would feel and see things and express things differently than you would. What do they say about the program generally?
Well, I think all of them share the same views. Some of them would tell you, "Bon Dieu, si zot pate la, qu'est-ce que je fais? What would I do? I'm wondering how I would not live. I would die." Yes, some of them reach as far as saying they know if that program was not there. Qu'est-ce que je fais sans zot? Si zot pate vini, you know? And you have to be out there to, you know, to really know and experience and speak to these people. Because I am working, so I mean, I can tell you anything. I can tell you what I want you to hear. Yes, I can say that. But you go out there and speak to the people. Find out from them. Yes, they would say that.
When I went into Babono, I spoke to a client called Mr. Son.
Yes.
And I asked him about the program. I said, "What do you think about the program?" And he said to me that he is retired, that he spent most of his life in London. And he shared his story with me. And he said, "You know what? Before this program, I lived on my own for many, many, many years." He said so many years, I cannot even remember how many years. And he spoke very highly of the program, but he said, I would so love if there was a way to get somebody to care for me in the night, to stay with me in the night, because when they go, I feel so hopeless and helpless. I have nothing to do. And in fact, I think when the supervisor was speaking a little while ago, the viewers would have seen a clip of a gentleman in a wheelchair, and there was a caregiver wiping his face. This is actually the gentleman that I'm speaking about, Mr. Son, and he was explaining to me that early in the morning at about 5:30, he was on his bed, and he said he was reaching across to his bedside table for his radio, and he reached and he reached and he reached, and he could not find the radio, and he fell off the bed and burst his head. And it was just so sad to see. And he's explained, and he said to me, look at what happened to me this morning. If they were there, that would never happen. Yes. Because I can call them and tell them what I want. I can call them and tell them what I need. And if you could just see the clip is up there, and she's just caring for him and you know, wiping off his face because he was bleeding from his forehead and somewhere close to his eyes. And he said that, and he said, if they were there, this would not have happened to me. Do you get the pleas and the calls so that you could stay a little bit longer, or that if the government is able to extend the program and bring somebody to work with them?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because most of them live alone.
Most of them.
Do you care for, are there some who have care during the night, but they are there during, you are there alone with them during the day? Or most of them are on their own most of the time?
Most of them, they are on their own most of the time. Yes.
I understand.
And there's one of my clients, she live alone. And
is this the client that I visited?
Yes.
This is one happy lady.
I cannot leave that lady at 4 o'clock because she lives alone. I cannot leave her because you see, these people, especially those they know they have nobody in the house with them. They would find a story to tell you exactly at 4 o'clock. They would start the story at 4 o'clock.
Because they want you to stay.
They want you to stay. And you know they want to stay, but it breaks your heart to know you have to go home.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would stay up until 6 to hear the story, because the story is a story without an end. The story will not end. You know,
they want you to stay.
They want you to stay.
I met this lady, I believe it was in Kabish.
Yes.
Yes, I met this lady. This lady is a very happy lady. And it's just a pity I did not have my camera guy with me at the time that I went to meet her. She was so happy. And she was saying, I do not want Sophie to go. And every time Sophie is going, I'm telling her, Sophie, God bless you. Sophie, I love you. Yes. And it's like she cannot wait for tomorrow so that you could come to be with her again. And this is what I was saying to our viewers. This is not just this one lady. As we moved through the community and through the constituency, people were speaking about the caregivers. They were speaking about the supervisor. And one even said, well, when the caregiver cannot come, the supervisor would come.
Yes, he would come.
And the supervisor would help us just as the caregiver would help us.
Yes, he would do
which is something that is amazing too. Because most times people expect the supervisor only to watch. Yes. And they're amazed that the supervisor actually comes to make their tea and to assist them and to assist them as well. Yes. I tell you, this is just an amazing story. And I'm sure you can see my excitement. I do not think I have been excited about a program as I have with this one, because it gives you an opportunity to have a more personal insight into the everyday experiences of a caregiver. We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be hearing the views of 2 of your colleagues, because they are also from Babuno. They will be speaking about their experiences as well. And of course, I have a few more questions for you. Stay in touch. We'll be right back after the commercial break.
Okay.
Welcome back to In Touch. I'm your host, Jadia Japé-Emmanuel, and we have been focusing on the home help for the elderly program. You heard from the project coordinator, who is Mr. Perry Thomas. We also got a little background to the preparation and training, and we heard this from Ms. Deborah Hippolyte, who is the project manager responsible for training. But we're very fortunate and blessed to have in studio with us one of the caregivers. She works in the Babuno constituency, and her name is Miss Sophia Iriste. But I will tell you that I did not hear anybody calling her Sophia. As I went through Babino, everybody was saying Sophie. And so it gives you a little idea as to how loved she is and indeed she is, particularly among the clients that she has assisted. I did indicate earlier that the constituency of Babino, there are 17 caregivers. The supervisor spoke to some of the challenges because we all know Babino is a very large constituency, and he indicated that they are working very closely with the community health centers. People are usually referred, but there are some challenges in terms of the number of caregivers and the number of individuals who are in demand for the services. In fact, he also indicated to me that the job of caregiver is probably one of the most subscribed or sought after jobs, because there are many persons who have this passion. There are many persons who have done it for quite some time, but also as you move around the constituency, you would realize that there are many persons who need help. And I did hear the project manager indicate that whereas there are a limited number of individuals under the program, they're impacting a number of lives, and we are hoping that at some point the program can expand so that we can reach so many other people who are in need of care. We'll go to a clip where we'll be speaking to two of the other caregivers within the constituency of Babino. They too will speak about their experiences working with the elderly in their community.
We have been working with the program from August 2012, and this year is the 4th year since the program is going on, and it's been nice working with the elderly and the disability. Well, we cook, we clean, we bathe the clients, we take care of them, basically give them medication and take care of their well-being.
When I come in, I clean, I prepare their breakfast for them, I cook lunch, and then I stay there for a while talking to them. Well, I feel happy working with the elderly because it's not the first time I'm working with the elderly. As the program started, I work with an elderly about 10 years. I work with her, and then I love doing it. Well, they tell me they like the program, they like what we're doing for them, because the one I taking care, they up to this morning, he tell me like when he fell from the bed, like staying in a house alone, it's not a good thing. Because if he had somebody there with him, maybe it would be a little easier for him, because he had to struggle to get out on the floor to come back on the bed.
And there we have two of the caregivers in the Babino community just sharing their own experiences as they care for the elderly. And we spoke a little bit earlier about the challenges that some of them face because they live alone. Yeah. And, you know, maybe the caregivers would get there at about 7:30, but before that they are on their own. And in this case, he was struggling to get his radio because he says he loves to listen to his news. In fact, he was cracking some jokes about the Prime Minister and things that he heard on the news, you know. So he cannot be without his news in the morning. And he was just saying that the radio, it's as if he misjudged and he was not able to get it. And so he ended up hurting himself, which is very sad. And I think it makes a very strong case, particularly for those who live alone, that there be some kind of adjustments to the schedule. I am sure that you've had difficult days on the job as well, because we are all human, and there are times that you would be faced with challenges and struggles and difficulties. Or do you have only good days, that every day is just a day up in the sky for you?
Every day is a day up in the sky for me. Wow. Every single day.
You are special.
Yes.
You are
every single day. In fact, I can say my biggest challenge is when I first started with the program, I had to administer insulin.
Okay.
And I am afraid of needles.
Oh.
And I had to administer insulin. So while I was administering the insulin, I thought myself was hurting me, and I was giving it to the person.
Wow.
So that, so far, I think was my biggest challenge.
Wow.
But otherwise, I've never had a dull moment with what I do. Never.
share your experience going through the training with us, because maybe unlike some of the other people on the program, there are some people who have a passion and a desire to do something. They have been around it, but they have never actually had the experience of doing it. And then you have those who have been practicing it for some time now, and now you're going into a formal program and you're being told that you are required to undergo training. What was the training experience like for you?
So far the training was, it was not new to me.
Okay.
It was not new. Practical part of it and the theory part. Yes, it was in two parts.
So you would actually go to the homes and somebody would be supervising you, caring for?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you do it within your community?
I started at the Marian home and the hospital. That was the practical part of it.
Okay.
And we had a nurse supervising us.
Wow.
That was hard. Yeah, because you know you will go into the home, you will cover the bed the way you know to do it. But then when you get to that place, you have somebody marking you how you do it. It was that was a challenge. It was hard.
So it's almost like you had to relearn and redo some of the things that you had done before.
Yeah.
When did it prepare you adequately for the experience?
Yes, it did.
It did.
Yes.
And
yes,
so you felt the ground was covered in terms of the practical and even for those who did not have the experience before?
Yes.
Oh, indeed. I want to speak to the whole practical, transitioning between the practical and, the training and actually going into the homes where you do not have that level of supervision that you would have before.
Yeah.
Are you able to work independently, especially when you are moved to a new location, or are you a little bit nervous when you go into new homes as to how to start? What is the transition like for you?
It's not hard. It's not hard.
But you would have to cultivate a relationship.
Yes, because all the homes are different. All the homes are different. The way you will find that person home, you will not find that home the same way.
And their personalities too.
And their personality is different.
Have you worked with any challenging individuals? Although everybody I spoke to was like, everybody was just so excited and so happy, especially the last lady in Campish who did not want you to go. She didn't even want me to go. She was so happy for the company and to share her experience under the program. But probably depending on the condition and the level of illness, the mindset and how receptive they are would be different. Are you able to adjust to that as well?
Yes.
And to,
yes.
I tell you, you
not
are
all
special.
the time, but it's hard, eh? It's hard.
Okay.
I must say. But I know I have to keep them happy. I have a job to do. I love what I do, and I do what I love. So I go out there and I get it done.
Beautiful.
I get it done.
Walk us through your typical day at any home. It could be a home that you just would imagine in your head. When you get up, you get dressed, and I must tell our viewers, if you do not get an opportunity to see Sophie again, I must explain how I met Sophie when I saw her. And she was not expecting me, so she did not dress up so that I can see her. But when she's laughing. She's laughing because she knows. When I met Miss Sophie on Thursday, she was in the home caring for her client. But when I walked in there, and it is as if I saw a nurse on duty. Her uniform was properly ironed, the creases in the uniform, just as she's on the show tonight. So it's not like she's doing this for the show. When I went in, she had her uniform with her creases, you know, properly, her vest and everything, and she had her skirt. And when I looked, she said, that's my shoes in the corner there. And she explained to me that I respect my uniform. I am proud of my uniform, so I must ensure that my uniform looks good all the time. But hear this. She's so proud of her uniform that she had one set of uniforms so that she could work in the house during the day and around the house. And when she's ready to go, she has another set of uniforms. And then she said to me, let me tell you something, JD, you cannot dress more than me. As far as I'm concerned, I would beat you in that department because look, I have my stockings and you do not even have stockings. That's to show you how proud she is of her work and how proud she carried herself, how proud she was of her uniform. And this really moved me, it really touched me. Because most times when we look at our employment prospects, especially as young people, when we aspire to be somebody in society, we think of the formal, the shirt and the tie for the men. We think of the suit. And we believe that if you're not wearing the 4-inch heels and that you're nobody, that, you know, your pride is not all the way up there. And I saw in you someone so simple, yet so proud. So proud that you respected your uniform. And you ensured that you carried it in a manner that even the Prime Minister would approach his work. And I was really moved by that. And I said to myself, look at this. There you have someone who is doing something as noble as caring for the elderly. And your uniform meant so much to you. I was extremely proud. So I must remind myself that at all times, it does not matter how I feel, at all times I need to ensure that once I'm going to work, I must remember Sophie and I must look presentable. I think I'll even buy some stockings. As well. But if you could take us through the normal day, the day on the job, when you get up and you go into the households, what do you really do on a normal day?
Well, what I do on a normal day, well, my first client now, my first client, when I get there, I give him a bed bath because he's bedridden. I give him a bed bath.
Is this challenging? I know someone say
yes. Just a little. Just a little. It's a little challenging.
But I think you get used to it the more you do
it.
You get used to it.
I'm used to it. It's like normal to me now. It's normal. He's bedridden. I give him his medication. I stay around, take care of his clothes, wash them, fold them, you know. I stick around, I give him his medication. After I give him the first one, I wait. When he eats, I give him the other set. I do that on an everyday basis, every single day.
Wow.
Yes.
And I guess the needs would be different according to the household.
According to the household.
Some people, they would have other support and others have not. When you would go into your second household, for example, what would your approach be? What would you do at the household?
Some other persons? Okay, there was that other client I had. I used to go in the morning. I used to give her breakfast. That was a lady. She's 95.
Wow.
I used to give her, prepare her breakfast, prepare her lunch, wash her clothes.
Wow.
Bathe her.
And you're saying this with the brightest
comb her.
smile.
Oh yes. I would comb her, and the hair is long and white. I used to comb her in the morning, and in the evening before I leave, I would comb her, because I like to comb her.
Wow.
You know, the hair is so long and nice. I would comb her. You know, she always said to me, "Ça va jouer tête moi comme ça, toujours qu'à ou des cheveux, moi jouer tête moi. Allez mettre braids on, pas long cheveux vle, you know whatever." Yeah, I would comb her. Yeah, I would cook for her.
Wow, very nice.
Clean the home.
I suppose I realized when I got to your client on Thursday afternoon, your work there. It was already past your working hours, but you were there with her, laughing.
Yeah, we were playing dominoes. Yes.
and I guess you would have to find different activities to keep them happy. Wow. You are extremely special. And I think everyone who's listening to the program tonight would come to the same conclusion. You are blessed.
Thank you.
And you are extremely special. I do not think that I have a heart as big as yours. Yes, because it is not simply what you do, but how you approach what you do.
Yeah.
And even while you're not working, I could see the joy in your eyes, the passion in the way you speak about what you do. And if I did not believe you on Thursday when you said to me, listen to me, where I am right now, I do not even think the Prime Minister has a better job than me. I said, yes, I have to tell the Prime Minister that. There is someone who's living work every day with a blessing.
Yes.
And I got the experience when your client said, she said, yes. I say that to her every day. I say, Sophie, God bless you. Sophie, thank you. Sophie, I love you. And I'm sure this is a story of caregivers across the island.
Yes.
There are so many stories that we can share. And I'm sure that while they are listening, they are even recounting some of their stories as well. We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, of course, I'll be reading some of your messages. I've been getting so many messages, and you'd get an opportunity to add your voice as well. Good night and welcome back to In Touch. I'm your host, JD Jean-Pierre Emmanuel. Tonight we're focusing on the home help for the elderly program, and we are very blessed to have in studio with us one of our caregivers, very passionate and committed caregiver. I've been receiving so many messages so far. Our number will go up on the screen so that you can share your own thoughts on the program as well. But we have been receiving some messages via WhatsApp and BBM. I need to stick a pin to note here that for those of you who have been following the program, you would have had a previous number to communicate with us on WhatsApp, but this number has changed, and so we can now be reached on 720-4992, and again 1758-720-4992. This is where you can send your messages. You will also be seeing the information, the pin for our BBM contact on your screen in a little while, and you can send your emails to intouchwithjadia@gmail.com. It is on your screen, intouchwithjadia@gmail.com. The number for the studio will go up in a little while, but if we are able to just read some of the messages, and I know I am not the only one excited about this program and excited about what you do. I have a message that says, I really want to encourage this young lady. She has touched me in a very special way. I never thought this program was so impactful. I never thought it was so involved. She really gave me chills, and I can tell you she has brought a joy to my heart and tears to my eyes. Keep it up. I would love to meet you one day.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Thank you.
and so we are getting messages so far from WhatsApp. Another message says, it is good to have the voices of the everyday people. They are the ones who make the program happen. Usually we see clips in the news, but we really do not understand unless we can hear their own voices. Kudos to this lady. She's representing the program very well. Another message is coming in, and if I could just read it here. And it says, I am a caregiver as well. I am from the community of Vieux Fort. I just want to say that what we face every day is very challenging, but it is very important. We need to ensure that even as young people, we respect our elders, we continue to care for them, we continue to love them, because we may very well be in their situation one day. Who knows, the program will not be there, and we may not have that kind of support. But if we teach our children to love, if we teach them to respect, then when we become elders, our lives would be much better.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and so this caregiver is saying it's not even about the program. We need to ensure that people learn to respect our elderly. When you go through the community, as a caregiver, what kind of response do you get from people who, they are not your clients, but they are just people in the community? Do you get a sense of appreciation for what you do?
Oh, yes.
What would they say to you?
They would, normally they would say, hey, you know, people, maybe they don't know the person, but they would tell me, hey, moi t'en ka poke on moun en le ala. Yo di moi pani person ki ka poke moun sa la bien kon oui. You know, they would tell you that. Wow. Some of them would encourage you. Some of them would tell you, Monsieur, good job, well done. You know, they may not even know exactly what you do, but they know you are a caregiver. You know, and they would tell you that.
So people, in fact, know about the program, and
they know. So yeah, well, most people know about the program. Indeed. Most people know about it.
Indeed. Well, you're getting another message here, and this is a very interesting message. And she says, I really want to thank the government for this program, but more importantly, I want to thank the caregivers. I must say that this lady is representing extremely well. However, I think there needs to be an extension of the program. For example, this lady is caring for 2 individuals. There are some who care for one, and I will be honest with you, there are some people who do not even approach their job the way they should, and they end up giving the program a very bad name. What advice can your guest give to other caregivers who are on the program but do not take their jobs as seriously as she does? Do you have conversations with your you know, those who work with you as to how they should approach their jobs and so on?
Yes, some of them, I do. Not everybody, because we don't really work together. But those, you know, maybe I meet, maybe not every day, but, you know, after work, maybe I would meet them on the bus, or, you know, I would speak with them and tell them. But like the other lady from Vieux Fort said, yes, you work for your money. But at the end of the day, we will get there. We will get there one day. We're on our way to getting where these people are. sick and shut in. You cannot run away from that. The only way you can run away from it is die early. And I don't think we want to die early, and we don't have control over that. But we don't want to die early. So we will get there someday. When you go out there and you do it, you're not granting the government a favor. You know, the government don't have money to pay us for what we do. They cannot pay us for what we do. Indeed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it's worth so much more than your salary.
I wish the government would give me more money, but I wouldn't ask for more money, you know, because the government will not have money to pay me for what I do. But at the end of the day, you come out with a blessing. At the end of the day, what you sow, that is what you will reap. You go out there, you take care of those persons, you give them love, you impact their life. Tomorrow it will be your turn. And if you die early, your mother, your grandmother, they will be there. They will be the ones on the program. So you work for that. You go out there and you think about that. When I get there, who will take care of me? Yes, when I work, I don't think about the money. I think about the blessings, which is much more than the money.
Indeed.
Because the thieves can take the pay packet, but the blessings, the thieves cannot go with that.
Indeed. Wonderful. I have a message and it reads, "Hi Jadia, I'm not from the community of Babano, but I must say that I'm very much thankful for the care program. My mom is a client from the Inchipo area and the care given to her helps me out so much on a weekday basis. I just want to say thank you to Deborah and Samantha and to all the caregivers on the island."
Oh, wow.
And there we're getting a message from someone whose mom is benefiting from the program. Our telephone number is up on the screen, 4527327, and we're also receiving your messages via WhatsApp, 17587204992. You can also visit us on Facebook, In Touch with Jadia Japierre. This is a Facebook page for the program. Feel free to share your views on there as well. The program is recorded and it is usually posted on our Facebook page. It is available on YouTube, so you can access the past episodes of In Touch, and I know many persons cannot wait to get this one so that they can share it as well. It would be available later on during this week. So again, we will be taking in your phone calls and we'll be receiving your messages, and the messages are coming in fast and furious. The number 4527347, again 4527347 to call into studio, and 7204992 to send in your WhatsApp messages. Good night, you're on the air.
Good night. How are you doing, Sister Jadia?
I'm doing good, thank you.
I will comment on the nice program second, but I want to make a comment.
Sure.
There is this talk show that takes place on a Thursday night. And the leader of that talk show, the person who is in charge, whenever someone call and bombard the Prime Minister, he would allow the caller enough time to release his venom against the Prime Minister.
Okay.
However, when someone calls to say something good about the Prime Minister, it would cut off that call. To me, that is very, 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 very bad. That is unfair, and I must say that it's a blessing for your program.
Well, I guess there are different programs that serve different purposes, and of course, individuals would have their agendas as well.
Yeah. However,
sure.
I want to shift gears to the nice program.
Indeed, this is what we're focusing on.
Yeah, I must say that that nice program, in my opinion, that was conceived in heaven.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I believe that the Prime Minister and whoever it is who sat to decided to implement such a program, it takes one with a good heart.
Yeah.
It takes one with a heart of compassion, one with a heart of love. And if you haven't got love for mankind and love for people, you cannot be part of the nice program.
Thank you.
And I'm making a very bold statement here tonight. My name is Gaspar Henry. I am voting for the Labour Party whenever the election call, because of the NICE program.
Just for that program.
You know why? Because if by any stretch of imagination, any other government comes into power, I believe, because that is the word on the ground, that they already said that they are going to cut off the NICE program. Could you imagine a lady like Sophie and many others, whose heart, whose everything is into this program,
and not even for the money,
not even for the money.
Love.
She said so.
Yeah.
It's for the love of mankind. You have people who have never been in a job before, and you have these people taking their pride, and you would hear about the way that she carry herself,
passion and
the
pride.
compassion and the love for people who feel lonely, who give her jokes. And I'm voting for Labour because of that NICE program. And,
thank you so much for that. You were saying something else?
Yeah, and I want to say that the people who are involved in the NICE program, like Mr. Perry Thomas, I believe he's doing a very, very, very good job, and I want to wish them all the best. And I want to end by asking Miss Sophie a question, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, it's okay.
I would like to ask Miss Sophie, what would be her response to people who have been saying many negative and bad things about the NICE program? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I listen on it.
Thank you so much.
Well, I don't really like to respond to anything that is negative. I don't really respond to anything that is negative. Because to everything that is positive, you have to find a negative. And anytime you find somebody criticizing or people criticizing, it have to be something good. So I don't respond.
You just show them your work.
Yes, I don't respond. My work speaks for itself.
Indeed, and your clients speak
for
you as well, which is something that, wow, every time I heard your clients speak, I just said, my gosh, this lady has so much love. You have a wonderful heart. I will be saying that all night. Good night, you're on the air.
Hi, good night, Julia. Good night to your guests.
Good night.
I mean, listening to you all tonight, I just realized why I haven't. You know, it just might be through this program, doing this good work on the ground. I have two aged parents myself, JD, and I know what it is to care for people, and hats off to those people for doing what they do. The lady is right that nobody can pay you for doing that kind of thing. But I think, JD, we are doing an injustice to a few good men in St. Lucia. We promote those programs, we know everything is right, but we're doing an injustice every time. I know he doesn't like it, but we need to give Kenny Anthony the honor that he deserves for supporting those kind of things. And I know he doesn't like to hate. He doesn't want us to rally behind him. But sometimes we need to take the bow, take the credit, for manning and for standing behind a government that seeks to invest in its old people, invest in caring for the country. He needs to get off that profile of I do not want to take credit and take the bow, because as the last caller said, that is the reason why most good men and good women are voting Labour and staying with Labour.
Indeed.
Tell the ladies, keep up a good work.
Sure. Thank you so much. I hope one day the Prime Minister can share with us, how he conceived the program.
Yes.
And I know that he speaks about his mother a lot. And his mother lived a very healthy and long life. And unfortunately, she passed away a little over a year ago. But he saw her in her old age. And I saw the love when the Prime Minister visited his mother, the way he spoke to her, the way he interacted with her up until the last day. And I remember at the graduation ceremony, he spoke about his mom. And he says that I have a mother who's aged as well. And I know what it is like to be at that stage in your life. You know, at that stage in your life, you kind of move around as you used to. The loneliest years of your life, you're alone most of the time. And sometimes even when people are around you, you're alone.
Yes.
Because you feel like you're in a different world. So it really is a lot. But I would love if one day he could say where he got, that inspiration for that program. I have a message that says, hey, JD, I want to say congrats to the caregiver and also to all the caregivers in the program. they all have a great impact on these elderly lives, and I want them to do their jobs more seriously, and also want family members to appreciate this program.
Oh, yes.
This is from a proud supervisor. I want to also thank the Prime Minister. I want people to remember elderly are the foundation of our country. We must treat them with respect and dignity. We have a call on the line. Good night, you're on the air.
Good evening, JD. Good evening to Sophia.
Hi, good evening.
This is Alvina Reynolds calling, MP for Babonneau.
Oh, good evening.
I just want to say congratulations on the wonderful program, JD.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Sophia.
Your constituent.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
you must be very proud.
Indeed, she's a wonderful ambassador for the program.
Thank you.
And to the other 16 ladies in the Babonneau constituency. Like you said, they are stretched because Babonneau is a very large constituency. So they have to go all from the north, south, east, and west of the constituency. But like Sophia indicated, the constituents are saying to me that this is a blessing. The ladies are blessing their lives, and not only the clients, but the families of the clients. So I really want to say thank you to them on behalf of those clients who may sometimes forget to say it, the members of the family who may not get an opportunity to say it. And one thing that occurred to me, JD, around the Christmas season, when we prepare the packages for the elderly, usually I'll get the names from the community health aides or the nurses at the health centers. And would you believe the caregivers, when they see packages going around, they look through the list and say, no, you've missed this one, and you've missed this one, and you've missed this one. And some of them would actually go along with me to see that I get to the homes and that they can tell the people, look, I brought the MP and this is, and they carry the basket. And they would come to the office and help package rice and flour to really assist to see that their clients get a basket. It's about their clients. They represent. So I really want to say to Sophia, and I've heard the good news about Sophia, about Marfaline, about Linda, all of them. I really want to say, ladies of Babonneau, the 324 ladies and the one gentleman. 325 in all, but I think it's one gentleman.
One gentleman.
Yes. I really want to say salute, that I salute them and what they do, because at the end of the day, it's about people.
Yes.
And they're trying to impact lives. They're trying to bring back life to the elderly, the folks who have done so much for this country, bringing us where we are today. And when you get a blessing from an elderly folk, nobody can take that, as Sophie rightly said. So thank you, JD, for featuring our caregivers. Thank you for showing the lives that are touched and the people who are behind the program doing so much, the miracle workers as they labor in love. So thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you so much. And this was the Minister for Health and Parliamentary Representative for Babonneau, a very proud parliamentary representative for Babonneau. A message says, I must say the caregiver program is a blessing from above. I'm employed and it's challenging for me to care for my dad. I was very thankful I got them. Jadia, this is just a wonderful program. I was commenting to someone that growing up in Vieux Fort, I always remember elderly people on the road begging and most times very dirty. This is non-existent now. This program is impacting lives in very special ways. We need to thank these wonderful ladies who are doing this great job. We need to honor these wonderful ladies who are doing this great job. We need to honor and thank the Prime Minister and the Labour government for this program. Good night, you're on the air. Hello. Hi, good night.
JJ, bravo to this young lady right there on your show tonight.
Very special
As
lady.
a caregiver myself who works like in overseas in a nursing home, you know, you understand what the elderly people need. You understand the nurture that you can give them as a caregiver. I'm calling from the South, and I can tell you the pride and joy of seeing those caregivers roaming around you for in a uniform, hurrying to go to their next patient, going to their next, senior of their golden age. I can just imagine. There's one of them, the supervisor, I must say kudos to. Sometimes and you know her very well, Miss Butcher, she's just walking and flying to the next and making sure that all her caregivers are at their station, at their point, and whatever. And when I spoke to her the other day, she's planning something great for them, and I'm hoping this thing comes out. she's actually telling me, on Sundays, on Saturdays before I go to church, I have to go and check on this one. I have to go and check on that one. I must say, it's like a caller just said, that vision that Dr. Anthony got, whoever gave it to him, or wherever where he got it from, or if it came to him in a dream or whatever, I must say, kudos to him. I wish I had the time, what I'm saying, as an experienced home health aide, to give some of my time. It's difficult. I have an aging mother also who needs, time, and I sometimes don't even have the time. But she has someone during the day. It would be nice for it to be extended, like the lady said, and, because we know there are some of them, when you turn their back, you're all alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
You understand? And some of them, it's like some of us are loners. Some of them are not. They just need somebody to be talking. And, and like she said, give them the stories. And it's just a matter, especially those of them who've had children and the children are not able to be there with them. They're used to be communicating. They need somebody to be there. You understand? And, I'm just hoping and wishing that we'll be able to get, the funding. Like you said, we know our government does not have enough funding to do this. But it's a stretch of the imagination. That's one of the programs that, we as citizens need to help out. We need to give our government the strength and courage. Because without that, without our old people, without our, I call them golden, yes. Without these people, this is our heritage. It's like today I can give you an example of standing in a line in a store. And there's this senior lady sitting there. And this young lady is insisting that she needed attention. The teller went over to the lady and said, come on, let me help you. And I looked at the face on the young lady, and I'm like, we need to be able to respect our people.
Indeed.
You understand? We need to know that if the teller called her first, there's a reason why.
And the teller should not even call us. Young people, you must be willing to give up your seat or to give up your turn for your elder. This is what we were taught, and we need to hold true to these values.
And sometimes, and I'm saying maybe it's not her fault. Maybe she doesn't understand how to experience these things. And it's something that I think even in our out of schools, our home education subjects, these things have to be taught to our young people.
Yeah.
That we need, because one day we are going to get to that position if we don't go early.
Just as Sophie said,
and if
today
we do go early, somebody has to take care of our parents if they were left behind.
Yes, and our
you
children.
understand? So, bravo to you. Jadia, I know, you were out in the field and you were working hard and
listen, to be here and to be in the office is not as rewarding as to actually
I could hear in your voice. I saw you were choking up at one point because I understand what
it's just amazing.
It's difficult. It's like you're walking down the street, you see a senior golden age. You need to stop by, give them a hand. Are you willing to, that's it's something that's very touching.
Yes.
And like I said, and I'm sure our Prime Minister and most of these health homes are getting a lot of prayers and prayers and blessings.
Indeed.
And you understand, we know we're going through a rough time right now with the country, but I know that there's somebody up there looking down and, praying.
Indeed.
And giving us
Thank
our
you.
blessings.
Thank you so
Bravo
much for
again,
your
young
contribution.
lady, and hope to meet you one of these days.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Indeed. I have a message that says, it gives me great pleasure to hear this lady speak, and she's so hearty and enjoying. And one can feel her energy. Yes, the energy that I have right now is hers. I'm feeding off her. And from Thursday, from the time I met her, I have been so excited and energetic about this program. And I've actually been sharing with my followers on Facebook and so on what the experience was like. This individual also says her passion in giving back to our precious jewels. Jadia, this is so touching and inspiring. This is my first time ever watching this show and was just browsing through the channel, and I am pleased. Here is a suggestion. Training courses can be offered to interested persons at a fee to help extend the program through packages for individuals, families, and also young persons. And that is a very good idea. And I must tell you that the supervisors and also those who are managing the program, they are listening, because even as we speak, I'm getting messages from them. And your supervisor, Mr. Jada Emmanuel, just messaged me and he says, Mrs. Emmanuel, I would like to thank you for featuring our program in Babonneau. I would like to say kudos to my staff in Babonneau for a job well done, and to all supervisors and supervisees all around the island. And the nice workers are extremely proud of what they do. Do not take it from me. You have Sophie here, and when you meet them, you can always ask them about their experiences. Good night, you're on the air.
Good night.
Hi, good night.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, I would like, from the time that program started, I listened to the lady, I listened to you, Jadia. And you know who's speaking there? I'm
not too sure, but you can just go ahead with your contribution. It's okay.
I must say congratulations to you, my lady.
Thank you.
Indeed.
I myself have worked with older persons. In fact, older persons have died in my hand.
Wow.
While a doctor takes care. So I know how you, what you're feeling, what you have gone through.
Yeah.
So I understand it. Even people are born in my hand.
Wow.
So that will show you that the from how will I put it, from labor up to old age.
Yes.
So that will show you how I think of what you are saying and listen to you.
Yeah.
God always bless people like that. And the older person which I have raised with always tell me, wherever I reach, I will survive. So that to show you. So the same way, the same thing will go for you.
Yes.
And keep it up.
Yes.
And if the others are down, bring them up.
Yes.
And make them understand how it is and how it needs to be there. And at the end of the day, they themselves might reach to that standard.
Okay.
Indeed.
And they don't know. All right? Okay.
Very good. Thank you. Very good advice from that last caller. And I remember saying that, not just for the nice workers, not just for the caregivers. You are an example of what every single worker in St. Lucia should be like. Me, the Prime Minister, your parliamentary rep, ministers of government, lawyers, judges, teachers, sanitary workers, janitors, security officers. You are what we all should be, how we are supposed to approach our work on a daily basis. That love, that passion, the way you represent. I can go on and on and on and on. And every day, if I am having a day that is not going according to my own plans, I will remember Sophie. Indeed. Good night, you're on the air.
Yeah, good night to you, Jaja.
Hi, good night.
And good night to the lovely St. Lucian lady by you. I want to say to this lady that all is not rule or sister simply because of hearing your voice tonight. I want to say that you truly represent all of us, caring people in St. Lucia.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you so much, my dear.
Thank you.
Lydia.
Yes.
God bless.
Thank you.
And I want to say a special God bless the Prime Minister and the entire government of St. Lucia, including members of the opposition who are opposed verbally, but in heart I know that they know that we are doing something good for St. Lucia. Have a blessed night, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And this message says, Jadia, I love the elderly, and I think that Sophie is doing a wonderful job. I would like to tell her, keep up the good work, and may God richly and continuously bless her. Blessings for you all the time. Good night to you on the air.
Good night to you on the air.
Can you please lower the volume on your television?
Yes, good night.
Hi, good night.
You know, I was so elated when I saw that program, because I don't really look at just talk shows and stuff.
Right.
You know, I want to applaud the Prime Minister for the good work that he is doing, you know, and I want to applaud Miss Sophia also.
Yes.
She may not know that voice, but I'm seeing Sophia every morning when she's coming down the Cabish Road. That lady never had a dull moment. So whatever she said to you, that is her.
She's always smiling.
You know, and I just want to applaud the whole of the nice workers, everybody that doing that kind of job, because I know how it is. Because I took care of my grandmother, I took care of my grandfather, they died, I buried them, and I know it is not an easy task, especially when you get those that is bedridden and they have the bed sores and you have to clean those things. You know, I just want to applaud all the workers throughout the whole island.
They are a blessing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. Another message says, good night, JD and your guests. I must say hats off to the nice program. In all the different areas of employment in the program is a blessing. As a worker, I love my job very much and I am very comfortable. Your guest reminded me of myself and how much she works with her whole heart. Although the criticisms are heartbreaking, but it doesn't take away the pride and joy that I feel for my job. And I see that you agree in there. Yes. This individual says, hi Jadia, thank you for this program. I thank God for Sophia. Keep up the good work with the elderly. I've always had and will continue to have a soft spot for the elderly. May God bless Sophia and all caregivers. My name is Father Ignatius Dominic Savio Setut, originally from Balata, now parish priest of St. Benedict's at Mount Fortune. Yes. And so, you know, if your blessings are coming from the priest, you are indeed a child of God. This message says, I am proud of your guests. I am proud of all caregivers. Jadia, blessed night to you and your guests. I want to say this program is one of the best initiatives the PM has undertaken. In as much as people have so much to say about Kenny Anthony, but we as a people must really admit this is a good program. I feel very privileged to have the NICE program workers as part of Team Health Babonneau. Thanks for keeping my staff and I aware of any changes in clients' condition. Nurse Mondaisy, who is the nursing supervisor. And the messages keep coming, the telephone lines are ringing. Good night, JD and Sophia. I'm watching this program for the first time. I must say I'm moved by Sophia's testimony. She said she loves what she does and she does what she loves. This is particularly the formula for satisfaction. I'm also moved by her positive energy. I will surely emulate her in my work. May have to get stockings too. Yes. All the best, Sophia, and God bless you. Thank you. Hi, JD and Sophia. I must say this is a very interesting program, and listening to Sophia really touched my heart. I don't know if there's another like you. You are one in a million. God bless you and all the caregivers. You are one in a million. Good night, you on there.
Good night.
Hi, good night.
Yes, Dija Jean-Pierre, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
That's Josephine Barthelme. That's the nice worker from Grosile.
The very proud nice worker.
Josephine Alcide Barthelme.
Yes, indeed. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm proud. Not now. I'm trying to get in touch with you.
Thank God you got on. You need to lower the volume on your television because I can hear some feedback.
Yeah, I lower it down, yeah.
Yes, you can go ahead.
I'm proud to be a nice worker. Did I have 2 patients, one up like meter and one bois de wine. The one bois de wine from the time I start, I am there with her. And did you, when I reach, the lady does be so happy. She take her medication, I tell her what time to eat. We talking. She talking about when she met her lover.
Oh.
But she's from 2 friends. She live in that area.
Right.
The lady tell me, Josephine, bon Dieu qui voit, oui, c'est pas où qui vient. Et dit Prime Minister, moi dit comme ça. Ça y fait, il pas qu'on savent qui ça y fait. And the one of life meter, every day the lady tell me, bon Dieu, Josephine, en vérité, si pas tes woman, people so happy.
Yes.
But you have to come to Grosile. And
definitely.
You have to come to
I
the
will.
people.
I will. I
and
will
don't forget
do that.
My thing for my boy.
Oh yes, indeed,
and
indeed.
Sophia, we go to class together at BZ. You and Delia.
Wow. So you all have the same energy.
Okay. I know, yes.
Yes. And that nice thing, more people now want to tell me, Josephine, where to go, how I getting in touch, whatever.
That's true.
And the people saying this, the lady was there by herself when the son go to work, and she there. When the sickness take her, sometimes she went to hospital. From the time I there, she never falls sick.
Yeah.
Wow. God
when she go after I come
you.
in, she say, "No, my God, medical space, she could say I say sometimes she don't know what I bring in for her. I will not mention what, but she don't know what I bring in for. When I reach, say, "Oh my God, Saturday was the one of birthday. I set her A1.
Wow.
And she said, oh my God, what I will do without you, my girl.
Wow.
God will bless you.
Indeed.
Everything.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank
and
you
I proud
so
to wear my
much.
uniform, my black pants, and my top.
Yes.
And we're just waiting to send our contract. And I telling all the people, if SLP lose you, we know we don't have a job again, eh? So we just have to pray and Kenny come back in power. So Teacher Jean-Pierre, I love you, my darling, and Sophia,
Yes,
all the best, because we are working hard in Brazil.
Thank
and
you.
all 17 constituency, just hold on tight, and God are there with us.
Indeed.
Bye-bye, darling.
Thank you. Bye-bye. As you were speaking, and again, the passion, the life in a voice, I think we need to move beyond this program and sort of, I will try my very best to work with my technician to do community profiles of the nice workers so that I can speak to them, speak to their clients to get a feel. And we will not have enough time on the program to play it, but later on we can put together a package and we can profile all 17 and have just short snippets of the workers, what they do to speak to the clients, so that people can truly get a sense as to what you do on a daily basis. So have no fear. Very good job to all 17 constituencies, and we will try our very best to ensure that we can do profiles, because I believe what you do is very special and you need to be recognized for your efforts. This message says, hi JD and Sophia, I must say this is a very interesting program, and listening to Sophia really touched my heart. And this is one I just read a little while ago. This one says, I am trying to call a program, but I'm not getting through. Call, I must tell you, the lines are blinking. Everybody is trying to call the program tonight and not getting through. Or, kudos to all the nice workers, the proud, nice workers. I was really waiting for Josephine to call. She made my night. And she has called the program before. I remember we were on the program speaking about something else before, and she called to say, I am a proud worker, a proud, nice worker. I'm proud to wear my uniform. And she speaks about her uniform and you know, how she carries her uniform. And it's just a blessing. Like I said, this is not for nice workers only. This is for all workers, for the bankers, the hairdressers, for the cabinet ministers, those in the House of Assembly. We really can take a page from all of you to learn from you, because the pride you show in what you do is what we need to show every single day. And when we have that kind of pride and commitment, then we will all do our jobs even better. I would like to thank Sophia for the wonderful job that she does with my family member presently. I really did appreciate what she did for him at the hospital. Thanks again. Great program this evening, ladies. This individual says, hi, good night to you and your guests. Nice program, keep it up. Watching for the first time, I'm enjoying. I love Sophia's work. Listening, Sophia had me thinking differently. It really touched my heart. Hi, JD, I want to say blessings from above to Miss Sophia. She has a past client who every day sends greetings to her. JD, she's a woman who is loved by her clients. She takes pride and dignity in her job. I am to call her my co-worker. Indeed. Good night, you're on the air.
Hello, good night.
Hi. Hi, good night.
I'm calling to congratulate Sophie. I know she's doing a wonderful job. She has a passion for her job.
Indeed.
I work in the Barbano community at the health center, and I know Sophie very well. I'm congratulating her tonight.
Thank you.
And also Linda and Maya.
Indeed, yes. They represented very well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, JD, a wonderful program. God bless the workers of such a great program, caring for the elderly. Good night, you on the air?
Yeah, good night.
Hi, good night.
Yeah, the first time I'm calling this program, you know, I'm lying there, and I heard the lady said, if the party lose the election, they lose the job, you know, but will they have from the best
I'm not
to implement? Because
I'm not hearing you very clearly, caller.
Well, I'll call back, sorry.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, you can try to call back. But I must say that for those who are listening, I remember some time ago that there was a little bit concern as to whether the program will continue, especially when the Prime Minister called a meeting. Many of the workers were not sure, and they were saying, you know, this program is so important, not just to us, but to the people that we are helping. But since then, the Prime Minister announced that we'll be getting assistance from ALBA, and so the program will be continuing. I'm not too sure where we are right now in terms of the receipt of funds. I can always follow up. But the Prime Minister did indicate that we got the assistance that we were seeking from ALBA, and so the program will continue. So when you go to your clients, you could tell them the Prime Minister has already reached out to ALBA, we've gotten the assistance, and the program will continue. I know that this would bless their heart, and they would be extremely happy to hear that. The messages are coming. Good evening, JD and guests. This is a really good show. How can I get in touch with persons who are responsible? It's amazing how much pride some of us have in caring for the elderly. Great job. I may need help for elderly in 2 separate homes. The number for the NICE unit is 4682177. Again, the number is 4682177. And someone just sent me a Bible verse, and it says, "For he longed after you all and was full of heaviness, because that he had heard that he had been sick." And it is in Philippians 2:26. And I think this person is really saying that the work that you are doing is really heavenly. The work that you're doing is beyond you, really, and that every day you need to find your inspiration and find your strength in the Word of God. This person says, "Jadia, I think the adult care program is a very good program. I support it 100%. Wow, that's all I can say. God bless the caregivers. It is a pleasure listening to this lady. I can see the pride and genuine nature in her. One of your best programs, Jadia." This person said one of my best programs. I will say that this is my best program ever. And even before I did the program, I knew it would have been my best program ever. And I've already thanked Merlene, and I cannot thank Merlene enough. When Merlene called me, Merlene said, "Jadia, this is too good for me to keep to myself. And when I tell you, it will be too good for you to keep to yourself. And you will tell the country, and you will tell the world. Everyone needs to know what these people are doing." She said, and these are her words, "There is no bridge that Kenny Anthony can build that can touch the lives of the people of St. Lucia like this program. He can build bridges, he can build roads, he can build homes, he can do as much as he can in terms of infrastructure and different programs, but this is the one that touched me, and this is the one that would touch the most lives in St. Lucia." I would like to applaud the NICE workers for a job well done and to encourage them to continue the good work despite the challenges. My grandfather was a recipient of the program, and he was well taken care of. They provide a friendship to those people that is sometimes needed by a lot, if not all, of the recipients. Good night, Jadia. Great program. How can one get a caregiver to care for an ailing woman in Castries East? And again, I want to repeat, the number is 4682177. You can also go to the health centers in the communities, because the health centers, the nurses, we heard from one of our nurses a little while ago, you can go to your parliamentary offices, you can go, even the churches in the community, because they know who the caregivers are. Most times the pastors and the priests will go into the homes to pray with the elderly and so on, so they know the caregivers and they get in touch with the supervisors. But the number for the NICE office is 4682177. So many messages, and I know I will not be able to read all of these messages. I've never received so many messages on one program, and so for some of the messages I will have to message you and to reply to you individually and to thank you for your contribution. The phone lines are still blinking. We'll take just about 2 more calls before we end the program, but I must tell you, I'm just seeing a message again from your parliamentary representative, Honorable Alvina Reynolds, and she says you are an ambassador for this program, and she's very proud of what you do and what all of the ladies and the gentlemen, your supervisor, Mr. Jada Emmanuel, what he does in the constituency of Babono. I know for some of the others, because they work in a small area, it's a little bit easier for them, but I can't even see that it is difficult for you, because you said every day, you just wake up.
Every day, yes.
And you put your heart, you put your heart into it. We'll take 2 more calls. Good night, you were on the verb. We've lost that call. Hello, good night. We've lost that call as well. We'll take just about 2 more calls. 4527347. This is the number to dial. Congrats, always blessings on one and all in St. Lucia. I am working waterfront, and you are the best lady. Thank you as well. We've lost that call. Good night, are you there?
Good night, Jadia.
Hi, how are you?
I am fine. I must say this is the best program.
I agree.
I have been touched by your ambassador, as well as the one who called from Grozile.
Yes.
Because I have not had the opportunity to need a caregiver, thank God. But it has really created greater awareness
of that program, and I think it is one that is much needed in St. Lucia because there are so many persons who are ailing, not necessarily elderly, but there are some persons who are ill, and they are incapable of taking care of themselves. And so I must say hats off to the government of St. Lucia and the NICE program in particular, because it is really one that touches the lives of many persons.
Indeed.
And not necessarily the person in particular that is being cared for, but I am sure there is a multiplier effect of the families who are touched by that. And the lady who is there from Barbano, she is a wonderful person.
Amazing.
I think you must have the passion in order to be able to do that job with the joy that she has within her. There's only one thing I wanted to find out, because her passion, I believe, is one that needs to be in the wider health system. And I was wondering, as an elevation from that NICE program, whether she can fit into one of the health centers into a full-time position sometime down the future.
Indeed. Thank you so much for that. And in fact, as part of the interview I conducted with the manager responsible for training at the NICE unit, she did say that there are caregivers who have gone on for further training and certification at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, and they have moved on from the program. They are community health workers. They are now fully under the Ministry of Health. And so it is really a platform that has provided opportunities for them to grow and to move on as well. And that was as part of the full interview. However, because of time, we had to try to cut our clips as short as possible. But it is amazing. She did give the number of individuals who have moved on. And she said also that there are caregivers who come into work during the day on the morning shift, and they still go on at Sir Arthur to study in the afternoon so that they can become qualified to move on. And so it is a platform for growth for many of our workers. For Sophie, I said that to her on Thursday. I said, you need to share your approach, not just with your friends and your workers you meet on the streets. But I believe that the NICE units and the government of St. Lucia and other entities as well really need to use her as a model, because she's an inspiration. I left there on Thursday. Thursday was not one of my best days, because you know, things happen sometimes, and I'm someone who works on a schedule, and I need to get things done by a particular time. Even today, when I got into office today and I wanted to prepare my clips for this program, I discovered that my technician was not at work. And you know, so things were just happening and happening, and I'm saying the devil is a liar. There's no way this show is not happening tonight. It does not matter how we do it, but I know we're going to do it, and we're going to do it well. We're going to do it excellent. One would not guess by the passion in the voice of my caller, but even she said to me, I'm very nervous. And I said to her, I don't sense any of this from you. When I speak to you, your passion just takes over, your joy takes over. So you will, you know, you will not even feel what you are thinking, because what is in you is so much greater than what is around you. And so she needs to be, the minister has called her an ambassador. She needs to be that voice to many of us. And I think all of us who are listening tonight, it doesn't matter where we work or what we do, we can learn from her approach. We can take her passion. And we need to constantly remind ourselves that we are touching lives, we are changing lives, and our approach to our jobs at the end of the day would determine how much satisfaction we get from what we do. Most of us who work and we claim that we do not love our jobs or we are frustrated and so on, it is because of our approach to what we do. And this is what I've learned from Sophie. You need to think positively about what you do. You need to change your attitude towards what you do, and only then you would get great joy and satisfaction from what you do. And I would love, again, when we do the profiling, so that we can get an idea as to who has moved on to the what, and also to speak to some of those who started as caregivers and were able to go on to the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College to do something even better. The lines are blinking and the messages are coming, but it is that time where we need to come to an end. I really do not want to end this program. I can stay and I can talk and I can go on and on and on. because Sophie is such a blessing. The people who work under this program that I meet are blessings. The clients, I mean, the clients are amazing because their story is so raw and unedited, and they would tell you. And let me tell you something, I guarantee you that if you go to a client's house and the client is not happy with something, the client will see that he or she is not happy with something, because they are very bold. Yes. They are in, you know, their years where they freely express themselves. And I'm sure sometimes if you do something, or if you cook the food the way they do not like, they will tell you, Sophie, fessi, because they're very expressive people. Of course. Indeed. Yes. I will just read one more message just before we close off. Jada, the reason I love this program so much, years ago, we the children of the elderly would just drop them off at the elderly homes around, and some of them would not even turn back to check on them. Only when they call them to tell them their mother or father have passed. Now you can find with that program, with the caregivers coming to the homes, our elderly are no longer dropped off, but they are left to their homes and cared for at their homes. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to educate ourselves about what's going on in St. Lucia, and the messages keep coming. Another great show. Great job, Jadia. Great job, Sophie. May the Heavenly Father bless you and your family. Wonderful lady. Great passion. Good night, Jadia. I must commend this program. Oftentimes we forget about the elderly and the contributions that they have made. They have toiled to develop this nation, and it is only fitting that we treat them with dignity when they can no longer help themselves. Congrats. God bless. Remember that we will not stay young forever. Once a man and twice a child. Hi, Jadia. I'm just 17 years old and I'm in love with the elderly. I love listening to their stories and their singing. But Sophie, you are amazing, and God has many plans for you. And may God bless you and your family. Thank you. It is really amazing. And I tell you, the messages are still coming. Your supervisor said he was trying to call in, but he did not get through. But he wanted to say that he believes his caregivers are the best. They work hard, and he just hopes they continue to be inspired. And I am sure that our other constituencies and communities will be listening and will be saying, we are great, we are the best too, because you are so proud of what you do. But we have come to an end of this program, unfortunately. I really wish we did not have to go. There is so much that we can talk about, so many experiences to share. So many people are still trying to call and sending their messages, but I promise you that I will set aside some time to profile our home help for the elderly program. I think I need to go into the communities, dedicate different days to different communities, and to go in to speak to the workers, to speak to the clients as well, even to speak to community members, because we heard the voices. Even though they are not under the program, even though they are not caregivers, their family members are not benefiting, they're extremely grateful for what you do. And I just want to tell you that you are amazing. You are a blessing. And I'm sure you hear that every day, because this is not just for the show. This is what you do every day. As we leave the program, I just want to give you an opportunity to share your own thoughts. What would you say to the average worker out there? What advice would you give to someone who's listening to the program, whether they work just as you on the nights, or whether they are like me, a government official, or in the media, or wherever they work? What would be your advice to the worker?
Well, my advice to them is, it doesn't matter what you do. The most important thing is how you do it, why you do it. Because sometimes, yes, maybe you go out there and you do not like the job. But at the end of the day, that is where you get your bread.
Indeed.
If you don't like it, you leave it. But if you're in it, respect it. Take it seriously. I have always done that. And I know I'm not alone when I do that. Everywhere I work, I take my work very serious. I work in one company for 9.5 years. The day it started and the day it closed down.
Wow.
The last company before the NICE program, I worked for 12 years.
Wow.
With that company.
Wow.
And I left the job. I was not fired. I left the job. and I came to the NICE program.
Wow.
Right. So we have to take our work seriously. You have to take your work seriously, you know.
Indeed.
And that's what I do. And I know I'm not alone. There are people, they take their work very seriously,
yes.
you know. But I'm saying to those who feel, well, okay, you know, I want the money, I just do it, and, you know, I rather stay at my home. No. No. You take whatever you do. Be proud in what you do. Maybe you work with the city council, take it seriously. No. That is your job. At the end of the day, your money is just the same as J.D. Ajapier's own and the Prime Minister's own. At the end of the day, yes. That is why I'm proud of what I do.
Yes.
I can step in the supermarket and same line with you.
Yes. With your stockings.
With my stockings.
And I know that.
You know, yes. You know, on a more serious note, we need to take what we do serious.
Very seriously. And this is what I learned from you. Yes. Your approach to your job. Doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter how. You must love what you do and do it well.
Actually, I worked with Leo Clark for 9.5 years.
Oh, yes?
Mr. Leo Clark, he was my manager.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
I must ask him about you.
Ask him about
I'll do so.
9.5 years, from the time the company started until it closed down. I worked with Mr. Leo Clark. He was my manager.
Wow.
Just ask him about Sophia Iristi, he'll tell you.
I'll ask him about you. And I'm sure, if this is your attitude towards your work, I'm sure he remembers you. I'm sure I probably would not have to say, you know, the lady
don't worry, just say just tell him Sophia.
I'll do so. Yes. I'll do so. I want to thank you again. Yes. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you on behalf of all our viewers, those who message, those who call, those who listen, and, you know, this is what they do every Monday. They just listen so they can learn and be inspired. I want to thank you. I want to thank you too, especially on behalf of the government. I want to thank you on behalf of our Prime Minister, because I know that he's extremely proud of what you do. And I have a feeling he's watching this show. I just have a feeling that he is watching this show, because he was very instrumental. He said you need to go and find her. I didn't tell you that because I didn't tell you that, but he said, I heard about Sophie and you need to find her and speak to her and find out where she got this love and this passion for what she does, because she will inspire other people and she will help other people to take their jobs more seriously. Yeah. And people will understand how important this program is. So I will join all of the other people who said, God bless you. You're an amazing person.
Thank you.
And I'm really glad I met you. I can assure you this is not the last time that we're going to speak. Yes, I think when I'm having a bad day, especially when there's pressure, I'll call you and I'll say, Sophie, how are you? And I think my day would be much better. I want to thank our viewers so much. Thank you for always making this program an interesting and interactive one. As always, I want to thank the technicians at Choice. They always do a wonderful job. And I want to thank especially the management for the opportunity and the platform where we can share with you and to educate you really on what is happening around you. Next week, Monday, you can look forward to another exciting and informative edition of In Touch. It only gets better. Have a safe and a productive week.